just put it back on the agenda.
Is that a motion?
That's a motion.
Do I hear a second on that motion?
I got a question for the attorney right quick.
Yes.
If you don't mind. Is that legal to do so?
Yeah, we can do that if it's in our standing rules. Right now, we don't have anything. Right now, we don't have any rule that prevents something from coming back at the next meeting. So if you created that rule upon yourself, you're perfectly legal to do that.
I can remember several items in the past that have come back. But anyhow, that's a motion. A motion. Do I hear a second on that motion?
I'll second that.
Have a motion and a second to not be allowed to bring an item back to the agenda. All right. Wait a minute.
Be on the floor.
Wait a minute. The motion is to not be able to bring an item back to the agenda for at least 90 days.
For 90 days.
Yes, sir, Councilman.
First question is for the attorney. That would include no table motion to be less than 90 days, would it not?
I think Councilman Watt's motion was that if the motion brought before the council failed, then it couldn't come back for 90 days. So if you tabled it, you could table it and bring it back. You know, you wouldn't have voted on it, it wouldn't have failed. So this is, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think what you said was it would only apply to motions that had failed after a vote.
I believe the motion's pretty clear at this point, but I want to bring to council's attention that this has far-reaching effects. Not just what I brought here today, but it has far-reaching effects for somebody that wants to bring something up and it fails, and then come back shortly thereafter. So if this motion is centered just to censor Pete Souza, it's going to have a far-reaching effect on every member of this council.
Any other questions or discussion on this motion?
Mr. Ridley, I may be overthinking the room here, but if a motion's made, in hypothetically what Councilman White said, if a motion's made and seconded and is voted on and it fails, he's saying it could not be brought back for the council for 90 days.
Correct.
What if this, on a particular subject item you're voting on, what if someone came in to discuss that same item but brought a different motion regarding that same item?
And I guess the mayor rules the meeting, and so the mayor would have to make a decision as to whether or not that was the same thing, just phrased differently before the agenda was published. So at that point, I mean, if you're trying to evade the rule, I think the mayor could probably tell, okay, this person's bringing the exact same thing, they're just calling it something different. So.
Well, it would be, if it's considered germane, but it can still come in two different directions. So it could be
and that may be an issue that you all want to clarify. So.
It's hard to clarify problems that pops up sometimes. I think I remember the first motion that failed that came back when I came into this office was over supporting a golf tournament. Came back next week, or next month. So anyhow, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Which states if a motion is brought to the floor and it fails, it cannot be re-entered for 90 days.
Right.
Any other questions or concerns or discussions? Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Simpson.
No.
Councilmember Wyatt. Mayor Pro Tem Harris. Councilmember Curley. Mayor Mayberry.
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Harris.
Aye.
Motion carries. Anything that's, motion that has failed cannot be re-entered for 90 days. Revision to our standing rules. Next item is discussion and action on joint indoor recreation